What's up, folks? I want to do a quick video about a person who has made a very significant influence in my lifetime. There's a bunch of them. I mean, you can count them on at least one hand, if not two, or hopefully multiple handfuls if you're a really smart person. Me, I'm a pretty simple man. I don't claim to be anything. I'm lucky I have what I have. I've bounced my head off of a lot of trees and rocks in my day. I can show you the scars. That being said, this person had a major influence on me. I don't know or care if you know who Michael Ruppert was, but you probably might want to do some research about this person. Just saying. We'll talk about it after you watch this.
We are all collectively responsible for what may be the greatest preventable Holocaust in the history of planet Earth. I have 30 years of experience as an investigative journalist. I've broken major scandals, going out to try and map how the world really worked as opposed to the way we were told it worked. Our map has proven deadly accurate. My economic predictions, we had it so right. In 2006, we said, get out of debt right now. Check your mortgage carefully. We issued a whole series of warnings.
It will be nothing like we have ever seen before.
Everything that we said was going to happen is taking place right now. Gold prices, Pakistan, Afghanistan, the stock market. It's not that Bernie Madoff was a pyramid scheme. The whole economy is a pyramid scheme. Of course I've been called a conspiracy theorist.
Alright, we're halfway through this trailer. If you don't know who this man is, or was, he makes Alex Jones look like a kindergartner.
But I don't deal in conspiracy theory, I deal in conspiracy fact. The mortal blow to human industrialized civilization will happen when oil prices spike and nobody can afford to buy that oil, and everything will just shut down. Unlike the Great Depression, we do not have infinite resources. Nothing grows forever. There is a cycle: birth, growth, maturation, decline, and death. Cars don't run. The mail stops getting delivered. Planes don't fly. Law enforcement stops working. This is all part of the collapse.
Hey, doesn't this remind you of something? Kind of like what's happening right now? Not too far-fetched, is it? Guess what? If you don't know anything about this man, this documentary came out on Netflix a long time ago. It's called Collapse. It had a major impact on my life, as well as a bunch of other things. But let me tell you something real quick. This guy predicted this shit. Not saying it's all gonna happen, but it is kinda happening. Sadly. Guess what he did? He moved to a retreat, kinda like a hippie commune thing, like just a farm out in Colorado. Guess what he did? Stuck a shotgun in his mouth. Pulled the trigger.
If you're in a camp and a bear attacks, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You only have to be faster than the slowest camper. The challenge being faced by the human race now is either evolve or perish, grow up or die. You have to believe, not hope, not pray that there's a way out of it, and you're going to find it.
you see that, folks? That was just the trailer for the movie. Here's a little extra for you.
Hi, I'm Jack Martin. I'm standing here on my property in Tubbs Lane in Calistoga. I'm here with Wes Miller, Mike's old business partner and close friend. And Wes has asked me to tell the story of the evening that Mike decided to leave us.
I'm gonna leave all the links to all these videos. There's like gonna be like 2 or 3 of them. I'll leave them down in the description thing, so you can just click on them and watch all these for yourself if you want. How far down the rabbit hole do you really want to go? You gotta ask yourself that question.
So that's what I'm going to do for you here. You just saw my garden. I'm on about a 2.5 acre property here in Calistoga. I got the email that's now a matter of public record from Mike at about 7:45 asking me to come back to the property, that it was urgent, and that I should bring the sheriff. I didn't get the significance of what he was asking me, but I came out here in a hurry. Came down my long driveway. It was already dark. It was about 8:30, 8:40. And this is my Chevrolet pickup truck over here. So I came down the driveway in my old Chevy. And as I turned the corner here, in my headlights, I headed over to the blue and white GMC that Mike had mentioned in his email. And there on the ground in front of the blue GMC, I saw a body. And to tell you the truth, my first thought was not that it was Mike. My first thought was that perhaps Mike had gotten in a confrontation with somebody. Mike had been on my property since late February, staying in a nice old Spartan travel trailer there. So this was Mike's trailer in the back. This is Mike's old Lincoln that he came out from Colorado and struggled his way down the mountain in dramatic fashion until he finally came smoking and screaming and huffing and puffing into the driveway in late February. So we put him in here. So that night, the first thing I did was come to the trailer and come look for Mike. The notes that are also a matter of public record, the photos are out there. They were taped here on the outside of the trailer. I didn't see them that night. I was just worried about Mike. I came here, I walked into the trailer, called Mike's name. At that point, the note, he had requested that I call the sheriff before I come. I did not call the sheriff until I saw the body on the ground, and then I got the sheriff on the phone. So I was still here alone, walked into the trailer, called Mike, on the phone with 911. That was when I realized the trailer was empty, and I saw that Mike had laid out a couple of notes and a few personal effects.
So you did not approach the body that you saw? You came over here?
I did not at first.
Okay.
Sorry to get all like negative and sad and shit about all this stuff, but the whole point I wanted to make about this video is Michael Ruppert had a very significant influence in my awakening, as did other people, you know. I'm not gonna really name drop other than, you know, Alex Jones and a bunch of other, you know, your obvious theorists of whatever you want to call it. hey, some of that stuff wasn't too far-fetched now, right, was it? I mean, maybe they went a little overboard on some things, but hey, they were right about a lot of things, and they might have had a fucking point. The thing about this Michael Ruppert thing that I'm trying to explain here, and I'm almost forgetting the fucking point I was trying to make. Peak oil. Peak oil was the thing that he was very concerned about. The documentary is called Collapse. It was available on Netflix. I don't deal with Netflix anymore, so I don't know if it's on there anymore. If you have Netflix, type in Collapse. You might find it. It's like yellow with a black thing. It's like, I don't know. Peak oil. The whole thing is peak oil, guys. Moral of the story. Sorry, I just flicked the microphone. I didn't mean to kill your speakers. Peak oil. That's what he was all about. He was working for the CIA, and he was an ex-police officer before that and whatever, and he did a lot of underground work that not many people do. You know, classified stuff that we can't really talk about. But he got angry, realized what was happening, busted out, kind of like woke up, I guess. Not woke, awake. The veil had been lifted from his eyes. He was awakened. Not fucking this woke shit. They're trying to ram that shit down your throats. That's just another fucking diversion. Anyways, Ruppert, Michael Ruppert, do your fucking research about this guy. Seriously, this guy was a fucking pioneer in what he was talking about. And they shot him down to the point where he retreated to that place where I just showed you in Colorado. Ranch. Lived in an Airstream. Pretty much drank himself to death and fucking put a shotgun in his mouth because he couldn't take it anymore. I almost can't fucking blame him, because I'm almost at the fucking same point myself at this fucking point, folks. Because I'm trying to fucking wake you up, but nobody fucking understands. He got it. He was just ahead of his time. Now this shit's actually happening, like 10, 15 years later. But the stress is what takes you out. It's
I've made a great many friends over the years in Congress. On the right, I have the greatest respect and admiration for Congressman Ron Paul, who appeared in my video, Truth and Lies of 9/11, filmed in 2001. And on the left, Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney of Georgia. And Cynthia was the Green Party nominee for president in 2008.
See, this guy was one of the most realist motherfuckers you would ever meet, because he didn't give a fuck what side you were on. He just wants the truth, just like I do. Just like your normal fucking American human being, unless you're fucking on whatever side. Why can't we just be humans? Why can't we just, instead of fighting all the time each other, why can't we just get along? I mean, I hate to fucking quote people and sound fucking cheesy and whatever, but it's true, right?
The first thing I thought was, we need a platform on energy. We need a real one, a solid one. And that evolved into a presidential energy policy, which was the first title of the book now known as Confronting Collapse. By the time we're into September and October of 2008, we are well into the economic collapse, which became...
Sorry to keep on pausing, but see how he's He's big into peak oil. That was his thing. He was big into peak oil and exposing this stuff. And at the time, nobody really cared, and it's still really not even a thing because there is not really any peak oil, quote unquote. When the earth will never stop creating oil. The earth, unless we fucking blow up the earth and make it stop creating. Earth is a living thing, so it's creating oil all the time out of whatever that we have put. So basically, oil is like the blood of the earth. You're never gonna run out of blood, and if you run out of blood, you die. So if the oil's gone, the earth dies, basically. That was why he put a shotgun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. End of rant. I'm gonna let you watch the rest.
Began when oil prices peaked at $147 a barrel. And it was very clear to me then that we had passed, if you will, a watershed moment in human history then. That there was no coming back, and that no amount of bailouts or cooked books or printed money was going to reverse the inevitable collapse of human industrial civilization and a die-off of what might be ultimately proved to be 3, 4, maybe 5 billion people.
How far-fetched and how wrong is that now? After the fact that he's not with us anymore for like coming on almost like a decade almost, I think. I don't know. I'm not good with math, folks, but to say that he was predicting the future would be an understatement or an underestimate, because this shit's happening. We're not gonna run out of oil, but they're treating it like we are. So they're making it like we are. They're faking it. They can run the books all day long, just like they run the fucking polls for the voting. And if there's no fucking documentation on who's voting or who's doing the whatevers, how can you fucking keep track of any of the numbers? See why people fucking shotgun themselves in the face, folks? This is the point I'm trying to fucking get through.
Because there are 10 calories of hydrocarbon energy in every calorie of food consumed in the industrialized world, and the chart of human population growth shows 5 billion people exist today only since oil was first used. The peak oil movement really originates from the work of former exploration geologist and physicist Marion King Hubbert, who was a giant in the oil industry, who did some mass calculations about circa 1949. And he said very clearly that we're going to reach a peak of production and we're going to start running out of oil. All oil production, whether it's in one well or one field or a nation or the planet, always follows a bell curve up and down. And once you have reached peak, you will never be able to produce more oil than you did at peak.
It's peak bellend. You know what a fucking bellend is? You fucking bellends. He's nothing but a fucking bellend. Oh yeah.
Very clear that long before the Bush administration, U.S. government was aware of the imminence of peak oil. So here we are now at collapse. It is here now, being accelerated by this absolute catastrophe in the Gulf of Mexico. And we are looking at a die-off of many billions of people, the collapse of which is proceeding apace even as we speak. It's been proceeding since 2008 through Eastern Europe.
It's not too far-fetched, meow, is it? Meow.
It's now devastating Greece, which is not just an issue of energy, because money is useless without energy. One can't eat money. Money only is a symbol representing the ability to do work, which energy really is. So you can print all the money you want to. You can't eat it, nor can you put it in your gas tank.
If I had a microphone, I would drop it. Because holy fucking shit, here's the recorder. He just nailed the fucking top of the tater on the head right there. Can't fucking say it better. This is why people shotgun themselves in the face. He knew what was in store for us. Where are we at now? Is he fucking wrong? How far-fetched is that? We can keep going. There's still a couple minutes left, folks.
So we are now at a point where human civilization, human industrial civilization, supporting 7 billion people is toast. But thank God there are many, many hundreds of thousands and millions of people, I would say in the United States alone, who get it, who are actively building lifeboats now. And a lifeboat is something sustainable that's local first and foremost, where your food is grown close to where you live. That's the foremost issue right now. But
Have a garden, basically. That's what he's saying.
eventually the dust will settle. The choice being presented to mankind now is either evolve or perish. Change the way you view the world and your relationship to it, because I believe this planet is alive, and I believe that we have to establish a basic fundamental connection with all life on this planet.
What was I just yammering about how the world is alive? You can't say the Mother Earth isn't a living mother. It's a thing. It's a living thing. Fresh water goes in. There's salt water. You go into a cave. There's springs. Everything's flowing. It's alive. The earth is alive. We evolved. Shit's crazy. I can't fucking explain it all, folks. It would take me 1,000,000 years to try to. I'm not trying to fucking explain evolution. All I know is we are miracles. We are stardust from the cosmos. Blow your fucking mind, right? You never thought you were gonna hear about this when you watch this video, right?
To achieve something called balance that doesn't pretend or aspire to overturn the physical laws of the universe or to make man a god, but to make man hopefully an intelligent creation living in harmony in God's universe.
Fucking amen. I couldn't have said that any better. But, unfortunately, Mr. Michael Ruppert is not with us anymore. So, to anybody who's never seen or known about him or anything that he's done before, maybe do a little bit of research on the man, because he was really ahead of his time, and he did a lot of awakenings for people, a lot of great humanitarianisms. Unfortunately, it got to his head and he had to take it off with a thoughts and prayers to the family and friends, anybody involved. I'm a loyal fan, supporter of everything that he was about and did, and he woke me up. Maybe he can do the same for some other people. If this wakes one person up, the whole thing is all worth it. because maybe someone will understand what is exactly going on. We're not ever gonna know exactly what's going on, but at least we can kind of know what's going on. So that's all I got today, folks. Have a great one. Hug your loved ones. Get along with each other. Eat some good food while you still can before it turns into dog shit. I fucking love all of you. I don't care what anybody else says.